How different are we? What are different expectations for men and women? Here are some. Women are 3 times more likely than men to say they want someone to look up to. They want to look up physically as well as intellectually. Men prefer a woman shorter than they are. A woman a man who is taller. But on average, men prefer her to be some 10 centimeters shorter, while women want him to be full 15 centimeters taller. When seeking a long-term mate, both men and women look for considerate, honest, interesting, and loyal partners. But women care more about mates' status and resources. Men about mates' youth and beauty. In one in-depth study of 20 male and 20 female medical students, 85% of the men mentioned physical attractiveness as the trait most important to them in choosing a partner for serious relationships, and only 10% of women gave this response. Another research showed that males thought that feminine characteristics were more desirable than masculine ones for women. But they also thought that the masculine characteristics were desirable for women. Women, on the other hand, did not at all like feminine characteristics in men and strongly liked the masculine characteristics in them. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, equal but so different. What are differences between men and women when it comes to marriage, work, and sex? This is interesting and worth remembering. When wives perceive that their family and marriage are not going well, when something is wrong with the relationships, their blood pressure goes up. When husbands perceive trouble, their blood pressure does not increase. However, men's distress in marriage has other sources. Husbands' mental and physical health deteriorates when they think their wives are failing in the domestic arena, or when they feel they themselves are not fully meeting their providing and protecting duties, not living up to their mission. We are so different. Something about sex differences. The neurochemical basis for both love and sex in females involve the hormone oxytocin, the same hormone released when a mother is breastfeeding her newborn baby. And thus women say they engage in sex to share emotions and love. In males, on the other hand, the hormone underlying sexual attraction is testosterone, the same hormone that mediates aggression. Reasons men give why they engage in sex are more narrowly physical, such as need, sexual gratification, sexual release. And when then deprived of sex, men are much more likely than women to become morose and irritable. We are different. Something about families. Fathers in dual earner families watch the children more often than do fathers providing the family's only income. That seems to be a good thing. But on average, they also fight more often with their wives and find their marriages less satisfactory. Working wives, in turn, are less happy, reporting less satisfaction with the love and affection they receive from their husbands, compared with non-working wives. Moreover, even if wives' success in their careers means more family income, a deeper psychological effect seems to occur. One large study finds that when a wife's income goes up, her husband's odds of dying earlier go up as well. Go figure. And similar trends has been observed by psychologists and divorce lawyers. If a wife's career is more successful than husband's, First, the wife starts to lose respect for her husband. Then he begins to feel emasculated. And then sex dwindles to a full stop. And thus, divorce rates are much higher when the wife's career is more successful. Just another fact of life. Besides, wives are especially unhappy in wife-dominated marriages. The nominated husband often just tunes out and focuses on other things. And since the marriage is so important to the wife's happiness, she becomes miserable. We are so different. To bring another scary dimension to this conversation, the world-renowned Framingham Heart Study has found that unsupportive bosses can harm the health of wives, but also that the wives' unsupportive bosses have even more dramatic effect on the health of their husbands. Husbands of wives who have unsupportive bosses are over three times more likely to die of heart disease. Why? The researchers know that men will want to be protective when their wives are hassled by their bosses, but they will be relatively powerless to assist or change the situation. The subsequent male anger and frustration apparently kill them at remarkably high rates. So that is one serious factor to consider. And this is quite telling. As these researchers conclude, men and women in a marriage with different roles and expectations for husbands and wives both get exactly what they want. Both get exactly what they want. When asked how they would like to be described, men use words like dominant, assertive, independent. Women ask the same question, say loving, generous, sensitive. If marriage means bringing together one person with a taste for assertion and dominance and another with a taste for generosity and love, we should not be surprised to find that the former is, in some sense, the head of the family. Remember, these are secular researchers reporting on their findings. And this does not mean he rules like an absolute dictator. Indeed, it's still quite common to hear of small feminine women who have their strong masculine husbands wrapped around their little fingers. Happy women usually rule indirectly. They can rule because their husbands love and want to please them. In such cases, in such relationships, both parties emerge happy. Here is some wisdom for you. And this list goes on and on and on. It was hard to choose which bits to include, as there is so much information. We are wonderfully and fearfully made, according to the good and wise design of our Creator God. Equal in our dignity and significance, but also so different, with unique strength and gifts and preferences and attitudes. If we try to deny these deep built-in differences, that actually leads to more misery in our lives. Everyone is less happy, and relationships just don't work as well as they could. And there surely are different circumstances, and not always we can have ideal arrangements. But it really is worth keeping this wisdom in mind as you consider your future plans in your marriage and family. Be wise. Enjoy and benefit from wisdom that is given to us. Be wise.